Welcome to the Esthetician Coach podcast, where passion meets strategy. I'm your host and esthetician coach, Amber Boone, and each week we're talking strategies, solutions, and mindset to build and attract your best life and career yet. Welcome back to another episode of the Esthetician Coach podcast. We have a very special guest today, the NASH guru, Miss Abby Oyster. She is a licensed esthetician. She's going to be joining us today. She has owned her own business now for over a year. Today, she's sharing all of her tips for upcoming and seasoned estheticians alike. I hope you're loving these podcasts because I'm having the best time interviewing other estheticians and sharing their stories with you. But before we dive in, if this podcast has helped you and you're loving the content, would you please leave me a review and subscribe? I read every single review and it really helps support the podcast and lets me know what content you want to see more of. Thank you for taking the time to do that. I do truly appreciate it. Now, let's get started. Mr. Abby, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me. I'm honored.
We're going to dive into a little bit about your business, how long you've been an esthetician, and now you have your own space. So we're going to talk about all the things today with Abby. We'll just go ahead and get started. If that's good with you, Abby.
Yes, girl.
Okay. So how long have you been an esthetician?
I've been an esthetician almost 4 years now. It'll be 4 years in October, so it has flown by.
What inspired you to take that leap and open your own space? Because you didn't open your space right out of school, right? You worked for somebody else first.
Yes. So a lot of people don't know this, but I worked for a med spa fresh out of esthetician school. I probably worked there about 7 months and then I left. And when I left that med spa, I had zero intentions of returning to aesthetics world. Like, I'd kind of told myself I wasn't cut out for it. It wasn't meant to be. It just wasn't a good fit for me. And my second med spa job I ended up at for 2 years actually kind of just fell into my lap. And I decided I wanted to take it because it was a part-time position. I would only be there 2 days a week. So for me, I'm like, okay, this gives me the opportunity to give something that I have a license in that at this time, I hadn't even had my license for a full year yet. So I was like, this is an opportunity to give this another shot. It's not a full commitment. It's just part-time. And I was still bartending at the time also. So I was doing that on the weekends and I was like, this will give me something to do during the week. So I started that job. I stayed there for 2 years. The day I left was actually my 2-year anniversary. I had just got to the point where I was kind of getting bored. I had 2 days a week there, but at this point, I'd kind of fallen in love with it again and I wanted more, which they just didn't have the room to give me another day. So while I was bored, I was like, okay, let's do some housekeeping. Let's work on all these other things I need to work on. I did any kind of extended education I could get my hands on. I did my hydrofacial masters. We carried ZO, so I got my ZO expert. And then I also enrolled in a class to help with my social media. It was called Bosses in Beauty. So Bosses in Beauty, it sounds exactly like what it is. It's for bosses in beauty. And I realized a couple weeks in, I just took this class to grow my own business and to learn things about social media. But everyone in that class, they were already business owners or had just went solo. So I had actually had a lot of encouragement in that class from other girls being like, girl, just go ahead and open it. Go ahead and open your business. And so they were a huge push for me to kind of go out on my own. So it got to that point where I just felt like I had learned all I could learn. At the end of the day, I'm so glad that I did that because I think everything I did leading up to opening my own business was an essential stepping stone. I learned something everywhere I worked. It just got to the point where I was ready to do this full time. I'd seen a lot of success stories and had a lot of my solo esthetician friends encouraging me, and it just felt like the right time.
Yeah, and it sounds like you really took a deep dive into education as well, which is something I think is so vital for all of us to keep continuing our education in the industry, no matter really what industry you're in.
Yeah, I feel like everything in every industry, but especially ours, it changes every day.
Yeah, for sure. And so back up for a minute. So you were going to leave being an esthetician after your first job. Can you briefly tell us why? What happened?
I feel like I was doing a lot of things that I didn't enjoy. Like me and lash extensions, you could not put a gun to my head and make me do a lash extension on someone. Absolutely not. I think I was doing a lot of things I didn't enjoy. And also, too, I didn't understand at that time. The place I worked was so successful. And I had told myself in my brain, like, that was the only way to get any kind of success in the aesthetics industry. And if I wasn't happy there, then it just wasn't going to pan out.
Okay, so that makes sense because there are so many, and as you probably see now, there are so many different directions that estheticians can go into.
Absolutely. I was a young, naive baby.
I think being an esthetician is such an exciting career because there are so many different avenues and different opportunities that, hey, if you don't like something, you don't have to keep doing that. You can switch and do something else. So I do love that about our industry.
Me too.
So walk us through the first 30 days in your business. So were you excited? Was it a little bit terrifying? Would you do anything differently looking back?
I think my first 30 days, I was more, I would say scared would be a good word because I did open in June, and June, July, and August are typically those slower months in aesthetics. I was very nervous about that, but also I just had to tell myself if you can make it through the summer, you can make it through the rest of your career.
That's so true.
Yes, but I made it through the summer. It was not anywhere near as slow as I was expecting. I was very surprised at the start also because I did not expect to be as busy as I was. I ran a promotion for my first month open. I would do 20% off for my first 20 people who booked an appointment in my new space. I was expecting to it would take some time to fill that up, but I think in an hour I was filled up for those 20 slots. So after that, I ended up extending my 20% offer for the month of June. So I had a very busy June, and I think that is the momentum I needed to get started. So my first 30 days were awesome. I think I cried every day, but in a good way.
That's so good. Yeah, I remember when you opened, and that was June of last year, right? 2020.
Yeah.
That's crazy to think that, yeah, a whole year has gone by.
Yeah, it has flown by.
So, how did you financially prepare to go out on your own? Did you save money? Did you take out a loan? Did you just go for it and hope for the best? What was your strategy?
Think I did a little bit of all of those things. I'd worked 2 jobs for a long time, pretty much since 2020. I'd been a server and a bartender for years. I had done that while also trying to build up my aesthetics career. I saved a lot of money because honestly, I was working about 6, sometimes 7 days a week. And it got to the point where I was ready to open my business and I was like, okay, let's do this. My first purchase I knew that I had to make was my hydrofacial machine. They are very expensive, but I tell everyone they are worth every penny. I put 10,000 down on my hydrofacial machine and then just did a loan for the rest. She will be paid off in April of 2026.
Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. So that has also flown by. April will be here any day now.
Yeah.
So that's what I did with my hydrofacial machine. I feel like that's my most common asked question because it is an expensive piece of equipment, but she's
I'm
worth
like
it.
you. I love it. I think there's really no better facial treatment out there. I was the hydrofacial rep. That's how we met. And yeah, I just love the treatment. If you want to go that route and if you can afford it. And it sounds like you're doing really well with it.
Yeah, there is nothing like hydrofacial. So that was the best investment I think I made into my business. But yeah, the rest was pretty much using my Southwest credit card and saying a prayer.
What's one unexpected expense that nobody warned you about that maybe come out of the blue? Was there any of those?
Say product buy-in, like with my skincare lines. I had expected them to be on the pricier side, but not as expensive as they were. I think my Jamarini buy-in was, I think it was 3,000 was the minimum. And then my color science, I brought on color science a month after I'd been open, and that one was 3,000 as well.
Yeah, that's a lot when you're just starting out.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, it's paid off. My clients, they love them and it's awesome. That's something I definitely didn't expect to be so expensive. My brain, I was expecting maybe a grand or maybe 1,500 minimum, but definitely not 3,000. It was worth it.
That's good. That's good to hear. Yeah, and, I think retail sales is such a huge part of your business. Is your retail sales comparable to your treatment sales?
I feel like especially now that I've been on my own, which I do also have a website. So I sell skincare and I ship out skincare from there, and that has been huge.
Is it your own website or is it links to your products?
It is my own website that has my products on there.
Okay, very cool.
But yeah, I love that. That has been a game changer. It is awesome to see myself doing things that like I'm not even at work or even close to being at work. I'll just get a little notification on my phone that someone just bought this, and this off your website. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think retail is such a underutilized tool in aesthetics
Absolutely.
businesses sometimes.
Absolutely.
Looking back, do you think that you opened too early, too late, or right on time for you?
I genuinely think it was right on time. I think there's moments where you have good days and you're like, I should have done this forever ago. And you have bad days and you're like, man, like maybe I should have waited a little while to do this. But for me, I think it was the perfect time. I'm not married. I don't have children. I don't have any other responsibility but myself. And also, too, I had gotten my experience at two really successful med spas. And I like to tell everyone I would not be where I am without my experience at those jobs. They were essential stepping stones. I think it was the absolute perfect time for me to do this.
Would you recommend to other estheticians that are eyeing their own space or going out on their own to work for somebody else before diving in and taking that leap?
Yes. I
Okay.
think it saved me a lot of money. I think I learned a lot of things about not only what I wanted to do for my space, but what I didn't want to do for my space. I highly recommend that to everyone. I do know a couple of estheticians who have had major success stories going out on their own from the start, and that is so awesome for them. I'm so proud of them. I recommend getting your experience somewhere and then going out on your own.
Yeah, I think that's smart too. But like you said, everybody's different. So the journey's going to look different for everybody. But I agree with you. I think it's always good to get some experience under your belt too.
Me too.
So, what was your client situation like when you opened and you started from scratch? Did you bring a partial book with you from where you'd worked before? Did people find you? How did that work when you first opened?
I did have a partial clientele from where I came from. I moved literally 5 minutes down the road. So that definitely helps a lot. Also, for me, I ended up having more clients than I actually realized I had. A lot of my clients couldn't see me on a super regular basis because I only had 2 days a week. So some of my clients, the 2 days a week I work just happened to be a good day for them and they made that work. But some of my other clients, somehow, don't know how I did this. I see a lot of nurses. I love my nurses. Most of them, they don't know what their schedule is going to be. So most of them I was seeing like bi-monthly or by season change. I really didn't realize how many clients I had until I went from offering 2 to 5 days a week.
So, it really opened up your availability and allowed them to book with you more frequently.
Yes. So yeah, that definitely helped a lot.
I know you brought some clientele with you, but what worked to get your first paying clients in the door? Do you use social media? Did you do any advertising, marketing? What would you recommend that other people do when they're first starting out to get those first clients in the door?
Instagram, 100%. I think that is still to this day when I get new clients, majority of them, I have gotten them off of Instagram, or some of them I have actually gotten off TikTok, which I was very surprised about.
Yeah, because you never know. TikTok followers could be, well, I guess on Instagram too, all over the country or world.
Yeah. And even for me, I have a very good friend of mine. Her name is Lindsay, and Lindsay has a pretty good following on TikTok. I had offered her, I was like, hey, if you want to come in for your next facial, like we'll work out some kind of price point. But if you promote me, like I will take care of you somehow. But she had posted a video about me on TikTok. And I think within the first week of it being posted, I gained about 8 to 9 new clients from that TikTok.
That's awesome. So really networking.
Yes. So I think TikTok is very underrated.
Yeah. So how many times are you posting? I know you do a great job on Instagram. I'm not really on TikTok that much, but I see your post on Instagram and you do an amazing job. How many times are you posting a day, or what's your schedule like? Do you have a schedule?
For Instagram, I do have a posting schedule. I'm kind of playing around with that at the moment, trying to figure out what days are my hot spots. Most of the time, I shoot for Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or I do Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. For my Instagram, I do like to show up 2 to 3 times a week on my feed. I post things on my story every single day. I think consistency is everything when it does come to social media. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to show up.
Perfection is overrated.
Absolutely. But I've also learned people do love stories. Like, there are a lot of things I had posted on my story that I was posting stories for fun. And I didn't realize how many people were actually watching my stuff until my clients were coming in and were like, "Oh, I saw this and this that you posted on your story." Or even one of my clients, she brought me one of my drinks from Dutch Bros that I had posted like twice. Didn't ask me like if I needed anything before she came in. She just brought it and was like, "I knew you liked this because you posted it on your story."
Ah,
So
sweet. Yes,
stories are underrated.
you do an amazing job on your stories. Yeah, I think I actually bought something that you recommended on your stories too.
I have so much fun with posting them. I think it's so underrated.
So I know you do hydrofacial, but how did you decide on your services and pricing? And what all do you offer in your treatment room?
I decided when I went out on my own that I really did want to niche down, and I went for skin. I love skin. It's just something that instantly clicked for me. I don't even know how to describe it. I've just never had it's like I'd been doing it forever. I knew for a fact I wanted to do just skin. I loved hydrofacial. I love how customizable hydrofacial is. And because of that, I do feel like, in a way, from the outside, it does look like I'm just offering hydrofacial. When you get into it, hydrofacial is super diverse, super customizable. I feel like everyone I see is getting a different treatment. So I do my hydrofacial. I don't do very many signature hydrofacials unless I have a client that just like wants to come on their lunch break and wants to do something quick. So I mostly do deluxe and platinum hydrofacials. I would say deluxe is definitely my best seller because that comes with the booster and the light therapy. I include dermaplaning with all of my hydrofacials. I offer the bio repeal. I love bio repeal. And I just brought on a new peel from Factor 5 last week, and I am super excited about that one.
Oh, good. So all things skin.
Yes, skin girl for sure.
So was there anything that you thought you had to do at first that turned out to be unnecessary?
Think when it came to buying in for my retail, I think I knew what I wanted. And I kind of let some of, my reps tell me like, "Oh, you need this," or "Oh, you need that," because like everyone else loves it and it's so popular. And it turned out being things that I couldn't move very fast on my shelf. So I wish I would have been a little more confident in the sense of buying the products that I really, really loved in a way, kind of in bulk, instead of buying multiple SKUs from one line. So that would be my only thing that I feel like wasn't a necessary expense.
So did you I know we talked a little bit about this. Did you carry retail from the beginning, like when you first opened, or did
I
you
did.
wait? You did?
Yep.
Okay. How many lines are you currently carrying in your business?
I carry 3. I have J. Marini, I have Color Science, and I have Epicutis.
Which we know and love.
Yes, I'm an Epicutie for life.
So how important, and we touched on this too, but how important would you say retail is in your business overall to help you run your business?
Extremely important. I tell everyone, especially since I've gotten my website, you can make money in your sleep off of retail. If you have people come in for a service for their first time, first thing everyone needs is a sunscreen. So that's an easy sell. And 2, I think when you're confident about what you're selling, it just never feels like selling. I feel like I'm just talking about skincare I love all day long, and people are like, "Okay, put it in my bag, girl."
Yeah, you love it, and you're just educating your clients on what they need.
Yes, absolutely. So I think retail is a game changer. I am glad I did not go a day without it opening my business.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's very important to start out with some retail, even if it's just, one line or, half of a line, but have some retail in your business.
Yes, exactly. You don't have to have absolutely everything when you start.
Are you offering memberships or packages? Do you do add-ons? Because you said, I noticed you said dermaplanings are automatically included in your hydrofacials. Do you offer any membership or packages right now?
I don't do any memberships right now. That's like an idea I'm kind of playing with down the road. I do peel packages, like for my Bio Repill and the Factor 5 peel I just brought on. I feel like they do work better in a series, so I do try to promote those as a package deal. I've noticed that my clients do really love that. I think it also keeps them consistent because it is something that they've paid for in a bundle. So they normally pay in the bundle and they go ahead and book those out for 3 months. So that is something that is really nice. I think packages are awesome. I feel like I have a weird opinion on add-ons. I did decide to add dermaplaning to my facials because, for one, I am the person making my own prices, so I can adjust that as I need to. Also, too, majority of the people I see, they need a dermaplane. And I hate to have something as an add-on when I feel like someone's skin genuinely needs it. Like, it's not, I feel like people view add-ons as a treat, and I don't see dermaplaning as a treat. I see it as essential, if that makes sense.
Yeah, complete sense. I love dermaplaning, and, most people do want dermaplaning in their service, and it's great to pair with hydrofacial.
Absolutely. That is, my add-ons would be like, I have my Epicutis lipid masks. I have the face and the neck and the décolleté. And then I have my hydrofacial perks. So I have a lip perk and an eye perk. And really, those are my only add-ons. I like to kind of keep it simple. I feel like it does get a little overwhelming for my clients who, don't understand the skin side of things like I do. So I just try to keep it cute and simple.
I love that because I see so many menus sometimes and they're overwhelming. Like, even as an esthetician, like, I don't even know what to pick.
Yeah.
Like, they have like 20 facials and you're like, wait, which one?
Yes.
So I get it. I like when it's simple, customized, and you don't have to think about it. You just get a really
Yes.
good, solid treatment.
Absolutely.
So, what's been your biggest mindset challenge as a solo business owner, and how are you navigating that?
So I think people don't realize that it's more when you go into business ownership, it's not necessarily like I think it's 20% business. I think it's 20% skill set, but the rest of it is all mentality. I have been always very, very hard on myself because I do want to be successful. I had to accept that you are going to have moments that you aren't completely booked and busy, and that's okay because everyone goes through that. So I did go from working a job that was 2 days a week to 5 days a week. So my 2 days were crammed because I only had 2 days. And my 5 days, I mean, it looks like I'm not as busy, but I'm actually seeing more people. It's just I don't have all these people crammed into one day. It's one of those things where you're not always going to be booked and busy. That was something in my brain, at least when you're starting out, and that's okay. During that time, you just have to do things that are going to take your business to the next level and need to be taken care of. When I'm not super busy, I'm doing extended education. I'm prioritizing my Instagram content. I'm locking into retail sales. At the end of the day, without the slow times, you don't have time to prioritize things in your business that need to be worked on. I have to remind myself that the slow times are good. We need to work on something, and maybe the universe, Jesus, thinks you need a reset.
Yeah, I absolutely 100% agree. And I think because you're working on those things during the slow times, you're feeding that back into the universe. You're telling God, whatever belief system you have, but you're telling, hey, this is more of what I want. Send this to me. And you're
Yes,
keeping that positive mindset. And that's really a struggle sometimes when you're owning your own business to stay motivated and to keep doing those things because it's easy to not do those things and, sit back and just feel sorry for yourself, but you have to keep doing those strategies and work on your business during those slow times to be successful.
absolutely. Because when you are on your own, you don't have someone to pet you and tell you you're pretty and you're awesome and, that kind of thing. You do have to put the big girl panties on and say, let's get this done on your own,
Yeah, one of my favorite sayings I see on Instagram all the time, believing in yourself, there's no days off, basically. So, and it's so true. You have to keep
Yes,
showing up when nobody else is clapping for you, when you don't have clients coming in the door. You just have to keep putting that faith and effort into your business.
exactly.
What's one thing that you wish someone would have told you before you opened your doors?
I would have to say, as corny as this sounds, like that being yourself is enough. I'd worked at so many places where it was almost over professional for me. I want my clients when they come in my door to feel relaxed, but also have fun. Like, this is a fun environment, I think. I had to tell myself at first, like, you're on your own. You don't have to wear scrubs every day. You don't have to use these big, long, fancy, schmancy terms to let people know that you're smart and you're educated. Like, showing up as yourself genuinely is enough. When I finally got comfortable with who I was and not promoting that I'm just some super over professional person, like my clientele grew. So people love authenticity.
And
So,
getting comfortable in your own skin. Yeah, I think makes a
yes.
huge difference.
Absolutely. It took me, I think, about 3-ish months in to really get comfortable and realize, like, I can say whatever I want. I can wear whatever I want. I can do what I want because I don't have a boss that's gonna yell at me or fire me. I just think being yourself is enough. I wish I would have started with that confidence going in.
I love that, and I love your attitude and everything that you've done and started. It's amazing.
Thank you. I love it.
So if you could go back and mentor yourself day one, what would you say?
I would have to go back to what we kind of talked about earlier of you don't everything doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent and show up. I'm very just like everyone else, I'm quick to get in my head about wanting to be at level 50 when realistically I'm only at level 2, and that's okay. Everyone has to start somewhere. I would love to tell her, "Babe, you don't have to be perfect. Your content doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent and you have to show up even when you don't want to."
I love that, and I think that's so important too, just to show up and do the best that you can. That's ultimately what's going to grow you and grow your business.
Absolutely.
So, where do you see your business going in the next year? And what are you focusing on to grow your business to the next level? Speaking of levels,
Yes. I just want to keep growing more and more in every aspect. I have my eye on a couple new services that I want to bring in. Also have been testing out some new products that will potentially be on my shelf by the end of this year. I like to test out my products and services for a while before I bring them on, do my research. So I have some fun things I'm working with right now that are looking pretty promising. Another thing I really want to do is put a little more focus into my social media. I do want to build my social media presence a little bit more just to connect a little more with esthetician community. I am a solo esthetician and I just want more and more people in my corner to I don't know, it's nice to have people who understand what you're going through and also people to just learn off of. So I've loved building my social media up to the point it is now to be able to connect with other people. I just kind of want to expand that, just learning more and more and being able to offer my clients more and more things.
yeah, having that community is so important. And like you said, I think we can all learn something from each other, you know?
Yes, community over competition always.
Yes, I agree. So, what would you say to the esthetician who's sitting on the edge of the fence right now of going solo, but they can't decide if they're ready? What advice would you give them?
I would say, and this is something that I had to kind of learn as well. I firmly believe that if you have a desire to do something, like it's not placed on your heart for no reason. I think if it's on your heart to do it, you should pursue it. I also think you will never feel ready and be doubt free when it comes to opening your own thing. I was making truly every excuse in the book, but then I got to the point where I was like, if not now, then when? And I knew that if I didn't open my own business, I would regret doing it. So, and everyone calls it a leap of faith for a reason. It is scary. You are quite literally leaping into the unknown. But I would say if you have that desire there, then that's not coincidental. It's there for a reason, and you should pursue it.
I love that. And what's your personal definition of success as a beauty entrepreneur?
I feel like if I was asked this when I first opened, it would look really different than what I have to say now. But in my first year being open, I've gotten to the point where I'm not booked from 10 in the morning to 10 o'clock at night. I'm not making $1 million yet and that kind of thing. I think at first that's what I tied into success, money and being booked and busy. Being successful is being with clients that truly align with you, truly having clients that you love and care for, and they love and care for you and respect you just as much. The definition of success for me is growing every day, not worried about how fast everyone else is growing around me because everyone's pace is different. I am at a point where I am taking care of myself. That's something I never did when I worked at other med spas. I am cautious about what I put into my body and fueling my body. And I also work out a couple of days a week now. I have the schedule, the flexibility to where I can make time for that. I think definition for success is obviously different from everyone. In the phase I am in, I am successful because I'm happy.
Yeah, I think that has so much to do with success is being happy and, like you said, being authentic and being grounded and living in who you are, whatever path that may be, and taking care of yourself. And that's just going to feed, when you can feed yourself, you're going to be able to feed others.
Exactly.
Fun question. What's your favorite product that you're using right now?
Epicuta's Hydrobiome Mist.
I know. I love that mist so much.
I am obsessed with her. It's a little spritz that just does so much. It is amazing to me. I am a pigment girly. I'm always looking for anything to help with pigment. So I love that it does have the mist, the 6 times the potency of like your typical vitamin C. I love that I'm getting hydration. I'm keeping my barrier healthy, but also kind of getting a little protection in the pigment world. So I like that.
For sure. It is so hydrating and it feels so good. It smells amazing.
I have one everywhere. My car, my gym bag, my little at-home skincare shelf. Yeah, I am obsessed with her.
We were talking about self-care and treating yourself. What's your favorite treatment that you like to receive?
Honestly, I love a little spicy chemical peel,
Okay.
which seems crazy as a treat yourself, but I just love a chemical peel.
You
So
like the
I would have to
results
say
from the chemical peel, I'm guessing.
yes,
Yes.
absolutely. Of course, love a hydrofacial too, but I love a chemical peel. That's my guilty pleasure.
I need to get a chemical peel. I just hate the downtime.
Yes, it is the worst, but worth it.
I know, I know. I'll probably get like a series this fall. Can you give us your top 3 non-negotiables for any esthetician getting ready to open their own space or thinking about it?
Yes. Number 1, I would say a very good CPA. Mine is incredible. I owe him my firstborn. He is just so awesome. I went into it. I had presented the idea to him before I opened my business, like, hey, this is something I'm thinking about. And he gave me the steps of what I needed to do financially and business wise before I opened my business. He also just explains things to me. I told him, I know about skin. I know nothing about money. I know nothing about business. And he has definitely taught me a lot of things about my money and my business. So owe him my life. That would be my first one. Got to get a good CPA. Another thing I would say, this might seem kind of odd, but you have to have a diffuser. I have mine right next to my door and I get compliments every single day from all of my clients that walk in that door of how good my room smells. I even have had some of my neighbors walk in and say like, I can smell your room in the hallway. Everyone just loves to be somewhere that smells good.
That's true. What kind of scents do you diffuse?
Okay, so I bought a diffuser from the hotel collection. It was a little expensive, but she was also worth every penny. And the scent I have in there, I think is called My Way, but I have that diffusing, and then I have a little room spray that's the same scent. So You have to have that.
Yeah, I agree. Smell is so important. Yeah, especially
It is so important.
when you're getting a treatment, you like to have that.
Yes, and even one of my clients, I saw her a couple days ago, and she brought in a candle, and she was like, "I found this in TJ Maxx. I want you to smell it and tell me what it smells like." I sniffed it, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, that smells like my room." So it's so funny that, like, one of my clients instantly, like, is out in the real world and thought of me from sniffing a candle, you know? So
That
people
I love
associate
that.
smells. So diffuser, have to have one.
Okay.
I would also say, even if you're someone who is doing like lashes and brows, I think a comfy bed is also a non negotiable. I invested a lot of money into the bed I have on making it comfortable, my mattress toppers, my comforter. I think a comfy bed is also a non negotiable. People are laying down in your bed for almost an hour. They need to be comfy.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if somebody's got back issues. It's nice
Absolutely.
to have a comfy bed when you're getting a treatment, especially if you're in there for, like you said, an extended period of time.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, I'm sure I could go on for hours about some non-negotiables, but those 3 are definitely, like, the most essential, gotta have it.
Well, Abby, I appreciate your insight, your wisdom so much and sharing. Where can people find you on?
So, I do have an Instagram. My Instagram is the Nash Skin Guru. I do also have a TikTok that I'm working on. That's also the Nash Skin Guru. Then my website, I guess I'm just, my website is www.thenashskinguru.com. So I'm pretty branded everywhere.
You're consistent. That's good.
Absolutely. But yeah, and also too, I like to tell everyone, I don't know why this sticks out, but I always give them my full government name because there's a lot of Abbeys, but not a lot of Oysters. So I tell everyone Abby Oyster, and that normally sticks too. So you'll find me somewhere.
Yes, and I'll put the links down below in the notes so that people can access you quickly and find you and follow you because I know they'll want to. Like I said, you do an amazing job with your content. So
Thank you.
I recommend going and following Abby. But yeah, thank you so much for being here and for just being open and transparent and, giving other estheticians that may be thinking about going out on their own some advice and some of your wisdom. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm flattered.
Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave us a review and tag us on Instagram, and I will see you same time next week.